All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And a guest in the studio, our Yang Australian math hat. Cody, I wore all day to Costco and doing shopping for the Christmas party to see if I would get any of these legendary comments that you get in your math hat. And dog, I didn't get nary a single one.
Interesting, really.
Nobody came up to me, and I wore it for 4 hours.
Like I said, I think I have a habit where I'm apparently in some way I represent as the most harmless human being of all time. Because everywhere I go, they will pat me down and just let me through, and then pat the next person down. And be like, sorry, you can't bring that in. I'm like, you literally just I don't know. So I don't know.
I know. I'm getting a little frustrated. I just have like RBF.
I think that's what it is. People just feel more. People just feel like, because I'm telling you, man, I don't wear hats generally because I got great hair. And I'm just kidding. But I just don't wear hats. And I wear my Yang hat every now and then when I feel to put a hat on, and almost every time I wear, like I said, recently I went to a bar and I sat down for 30 minutes. One person sat next to me in that bar the whole time. He looked over, he's like, "Oh, math hat, nice, man." Yeah, it was one.
No, but you got one of the liquor store, you got one of the bars, you get ones in Vegas. I got nothing. Man.
Anyway, moving on. I want to get to the.
Okay, so we got an important show.
Exactly.
We got an important show. Cody, take it away.
So a couple things happened yesterday I want to talk about with you guys. Normally on the weekend, it's funny. We request people for like a Friday news dump. Well, for Yang, it's good news. So I don't know if you call it a news dump. But anyway, it's announced officially yesterday. It's a press release from the Yang campaign I'm reading, but I have an article from The Hill as well. Andrew Yang adds senior campaign veterans to run digital and direct mail operations. So today, Andrew Yang announced today being yesterday, Andrew Yang announced the addition of 2 senior Democratic campaign professionals to spearhead the campaign's digital and direct mail operations. This will be Julia Rosen, a partner at Fireside Campaigns, and she'll helm the planning and execution of the campaign's already robust digital strategy. And then Ali Letsky, who is the senior vice president and strategist at Deliver Strategies and former Hillary for America direct mail director, will also lead the campaign's direct mail efforts. A lot of other stuff in here, just kind of not mumbo jumbo, but it's a press release. But
okay.
The other important thing here I want to get to at the end is that Letsky and Rosen will serve as senior advisors to the candidate on top of fulfilling their roles in digital and direct mail, helping to craft messaging and determine campaign strategy. So bringing in a couple veterans who not only have experience, and I'll show you guys in a second what experience they have in campaigns, but also bringing them on not only to function in their primary roles, but also as senior advisors. So we're bringing in a couple senior advisors, and now I want to get to this Hill article because they explain a little bit more about him, and we'll get through here. And here we go. So speaking about Letsky, who I believe will be taking over his digital stuff, she's a veteran of the Obama and Clinton presidential campaign in 2012 and 2016, respectively.
Wow.
She helped former President Obama with his direct mail efforts during his re-election bid and served as a director for direct mail for Clinton's failed 2016 bid. So I apologize. Still doing the direct mail for him. And then this is in the press. Interesting. A direct quote from her. She says, "Many Americans are hurting right now, and Andrew Yang understands the harsh realities a lot of families and communities face. As stores close and jobs disappear, Andrew is the only candidate looking forward past the rapidly changing economy around us instead of looking back. Andrew is a breath of fresh air, and I'm proud to be helping Andrew get his message across to voters directly." You notice, she didn't say his campaign generously cut me a check that's going to feed my family for the next 8 months, and that is why I'm working for him. There seems to be some, and again, PR stuff, but still, it was interesting to mention. And then the other interesting thing I want to point out is that a lot of campaigns, specifically Kamala Harris, ran out of money and dropped out. Julian Castro is restructuring and laying off people to stay in the race. So we're seeing other candidates that are polling. By the way, remember, Kamala Harris was polling above Andrew Yang when she dropped out of the election because she didn't have enough money. Andrew Yang is now turning and hiring a couple veterans of Obama and Clinton campaigns in just the years past. So you're bringing on people who, You're bringing on people who know what they're doing here. And then another thing I want to get back to, this is an old story. We've covered this a couple times now, but just again, I want to put it in context. Back in October, the Andrew Yang campaign actually announced they were working with the ad firm that worked with Bernie Sanders in 2016. Believe this firm is Divine, Mulvey, and Longbaugh. And they've actually worked to produce multiple, I believe, of the big TV ads we've covered here. Almost all of those have been produced by, the first one was produced in-house. I believe all the rest have been produced by this firm. So we've seen Andrew Yang in just the last few months really start to incorporate and bring in, and we were having a debate before, we'll get to it in a second, but veterans of campaigns, like people who've done this and been around these campaigns. I mean, the one individual, she worked with Obama in 2012 and then Clinton in 2016. So she's seen a winning campaign and a losing campaign from the inside, one way of looking at it. But then also, I don't want to get into how effective Hillary Clinton's direct mail was, because direct mail seems to be, it's like,
a dying art.
Not that, but it's always like the debate, like, like the Cars for Kids commercial. Is that a great commercial or an awful commercial? You know what I mean? I argue
super effective. You can't get it out of your head.
But exactly. Some people say
annoys the crap out of you to a point that you will always give your car to 1-800-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
But then same thing goes with mailers. Like maybe I will get worn down by 1,000 mailers. I don't know. But without getting too far in that, there's one more thing I want to get into real quick. We'll discuss both these in concert. I think they both kind of intermingle with each other. So again, Andrew Yang just announced he's bringing in a couple of veterans of campaigns with both Bernie and Hillary. Not Bernie and Hillary, Hillary and Obama, and he's already working with former Bernie veteran campaign people. Again, just people who've been in these things and done it. And then again, and then I want to highlight too. So while this Rosen individual now works at Fireside Campaign, has worked with several Democratic organizations, including Act Blue and Move On, which I would say are a couple of the big Democratic organizations to kind of work for politically. So, like I said, people in the kind of plugged into the DC thing. But now, without these, veterans and these campaign people who've been on a lot of his campaigns, he has some, but, without these recent hires, Andrew Yang had a fundraiser. He made a tour. I believe he opened an office in Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texas, Dallas, Texas area, and then he also had a rally, and then he had a fundraiser. Now, what was interesting about this fundraiser is that many fundraisers we've been to are kind of like they're more old school closed door fundraisers. You pay a couple $100, but by the way, this was still there, $500 more intimate meeting. But this line you're seeing right here. And this is only part of the line. This isn't for a rally to just show up and, hey, I mean, when we were at the Vegas rally, they were just giving people math hats and stuff for the event later that night. I mean, it's not like a rally where just, hey, show up, see what happens. I'll show you guys again. This was a $20 a head thing. Again, $20 isn't going to break the bank, but all of these people actually paid $20 to come here and see the president. And this isn't counting the money they raised later on at their $500 a head fundraiser that was more intimate.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, but look at this, and it goes through, and this is coming off, again, he had a massive fundraiser, a massive rally, in Chicago. He had a big, high-profile Axelrod podcast. They have an Axelrod podcast in Chicago just a couple days ago. So it's been going, but this is what stood out to me, is, again, this is another photo from there. Here's another photo from the crowd. You see all the, it cracks me up. It's like a rock concert. You see everyone with the phones out.
Yeah, seriously.
Everyone's got their phones up to get a picture of them.
I mean, that's kind of a BA picture. If we could Photoshop that and you would have had a better background, that's almost like, the big star rapper at the end of the concert just soaking up the cheers, That's a really BA cool shot right there.
So shout out then, by the way, we got to make sure we get a shout out to Belton, Texas for Andrew Yang, at Belton, Texas for Yang. Nice picture, man. It's really cool. Here is what I wanted to show about this, though, and let me move this around. So they actually ended up selling, according to the website, this is the Texans for Yang info page, 1,050 of these $20. So at least 1,000 people showed up to this. And again, you think about how many $500 tickets do you have to sell to make 20 times 1,000 would be 20,000, correct?
True that.
So how many of those $500 tickets you got to sell? Oh, no, I have to do math, and this makes me look a fool. But my point being, you understand that.
Yeah.
It's
big.
It is $20,000 nonetheless. That was raised for a fundraiser thing. I mean, we've been to rallies. I've seen rallies that, actually the LA rallies are both pretty big, but there's rallies that draw roughly that amount of people that are free. You just walk in and show up, whatever you want. People came 5 hours early. Dude, I've been to Andrew Yang Alley's 5 hours early. No one's there. I'm there, and I'm getting set up to shoot or whatever. Yeah. They had a line around the door. So I think what we're starting to see, and I believe part of this also comes from this being, I want to say Andrew Yang's it's his first public fundraiser in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I think it's one of his first kind of big tours through there, at least a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was definitely a lot of people who really wanted to come out and see Andrew Yang, and I thought that was cool. So that was just again, a little bit long, but just to kind of recap, yesterday, Andrew Yang announces 2 big veteran hires from both Obama and Hillary campaigns, as well as he has by all accounts, I think it's pretty crazy to get 1,000 people to buy $20 tickets to a fundraiser for a politician who allegedly nobody knows about. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like this is groundbreaking, but it shows, Andrew Yang is like a real political candidate people are definitely riled up about. And you see people in the media kind of keep overlooking it. It's like, you get 1,000 people to show up and spend $20 to come to a rally? I don't know. I think it shows that there's legit passion out there. People actually care about this candidate, and it's more than we're seeing reflected in polls. Huh?
All right.
So I apologize, I went long card. So anyway, so what do you think, first of all, about the new hires think it's a good or a bad idea? And then just generally speaking, I guess a better way of putting it is, do you think in a few months when they have an event like this somewhere else, will it be bigger or smaller, right? Like, will the next one be
everything's
2,000?
bigger in Texas. First off, we can't get through this segment.
I believe that term is called cheap heat. But
without the cheap heat, without the boomer, the boomer slogan. All right, that everything's bigger in Texas. Okay. Second off, I have such mixed emotions about this. When you hear that Andrew Yang is hiring swamp people, for lack of a better term, there's part of me that says, okay, you're coming out of the closet, out of the darkness, out of obscurity, into prominence and into traditional legitimacy, which is what you need to get those older demographics, to maybe penetrate into more establishment demographics that you've been honestly lacking. At the same time, I've helped out with congressional campaigns, as high as congressional campaigns, as low as like water board and school board campaigns, okay? And there's been so many times where I've seen candidates that have an outside track that's legitimate and good and could win them, so concerned with being legitimized by what they think is the way of doing things politically. And let's just say they raise 20 grand. I tell them all the time, dude, let's make you some really good Facebook and YouTube and digital ads. Forget print. You only need 7,000 votes to win. Don't worry about hiring consultants. You can literally do this yourself. Your campaign is small. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste your money on these people. Yeah, now I know. And so I'm saying I recognize that part of me thinks he should just keep doing his unique, very lean, internet heavy, non-traditional campaign, but that can't take him all the way to the White House, I don't believe. So he's going to have to dip his toes into the water of the swamp, right?
But I don't know if the swamp is the people who work on campaigns as much as it is like the 30-year appointed board, like people who sit on,
I'm
government
just using
boards
it
for 30
in
years.
jest. I'm using the term in jest.
No, but I'm saying like there is a difference between people who work on the campaigns
the
and work in the
consultant
government.
class. The consultant class that doesn't care whether you win or lose because at the end of the day they get paid.
Yeah, we noticed there's a quote from one of the advisors he hired, not two. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Fine. But all I gotta say is I don't know where the line is, and much like Bill Burr, the comedian, says that there's two unique American values that work simultaneously. One, that you need to shut up, quit complaining, and pull yourself up by the bootstraps when life gets hard, and smack yourself up and keep going forward. And then also this other idea that we need to help somebody when they're down. And he himself admitted, I don't know where the line is, and we rely on our presidents and our leaders to find that line and operate that line for us, right? I can't say, and I admit a weakness here, I don't know where the line is of how far he needs to go into the traditional way of doing things. You know what I'm saying, as a presidential candidate, versus I don't know where the line ends of him losing his uniqueness and becoming a traditional candidate starts and stops. So when I hear he's doing all these hires of like ex-Obama people and ex-Bernie people and ex-Hillary people, I'm thinking, wow, that's going to be hecka expensive. And I'm not sure if these people are in it to win it. You know what I'm saying? Well, but at the same time, they're going to have connections. They're going to have experience. And you yourself brought up a really good point. Talk about the point that you brought up about the First in the West event that we went to.
Yes. Well, no, we referenced this recently, but just because like a month ago we happened to go and see what's actually going on in the primary. And one thing that was interesting, we noticed that you looked around and we saw that you could just see there was some every candidate had their base of fans there, and you could see there was people that came prepared. There was the Cory Booker people, whoever ran his campaign, they knew to get these big signs and line them up. People can't miss them. Or the thunder sticks by the thing, and you'll just notice that.
And Joe Biden, let me tell you can tell. Dude, Joe Biden.
Marching band?
Joe Biden, if you need to look up our Twitter feed from that day. Every candidate had probably, I'd say, what would you say, Cody, 100 seats? 50? 100 seats?
Yeah, I mean,
they had their amount of seats.
John Delaney had 0, so that's what I was thinking.
Well, every major candidate was there, and I'd say there's probably about 7 to 10. No flame on John Delaney, but because he's not even competing in Nevada right now, so that's not to besmirch our boy John Delaney. But at the end of the day, all of them had maybe their 50 seats. And, the Yang Gang came in chanting. It's like everybody kind of has their grand entrance where it's your turn to walk in, And the Yang Gang came in chanting. And I loved the enthusiasm of the Yang Gang. But let me tell you, Joe Biden had a mother freaking marching band. I mean, he came in with the kids from like Las Vegas High or wherever they were from, and they were in full regalia, and they were just like, when you have a marching band in the middle of a ballroom, okay, the energy completely shifts from whatever the music is that was playing out of the loudspeakers above, from whatever the dude was chanting in the corner over there for the Bernie Sanders campaign, to being all eyes on Joe Biden for Nevada, okay? And he maintained that attention and maintained that energy and vigor with a full 50-piece band for a solid 15 minutes while they were playing. And then Kamala also was smart enough to have a band, and they were the only two ones. And you could tell that, wow, okay, whoever planned this event has been here before and knows how these go. And there was an absolute 100% experience trumped youthful enthusiasm in the Biden campaign that day.
Remember, Kamala Harris had a marching band as well. There was the Thundersticks in the Warren campaign. My point being, it's the kind of thing where it's like, you know, they say it in sports, and this is a competition, an election. You need people who have been there, who could tell you, no, guys, I've been here before. And yeah, sometimes you get to this point, and like you just need people who've been there and say, telling you guys, I've been here. We're gonna walk in this room. It's gonna be full of people. We have to have X, Y, and Z. And I think that's why you have to go out and hire. So that's why you have to hire this marketing firm, this Mulvaney and Longball firm, and they say, look, we've done these, we've made these ads, we've done this messaging. Trust me, this is what works. This is what happens. I think a big thing, actually, because here, remember, Andrew Yang has spent a lot of money running TV ads, and he hasn't seen the actual, I'm sure they've done some internal polling, which has been different.
Yeah.
I'm sure just, hey, last time I was in Dallas, I didn't get 1,000 people to buy $20 tickets to come out and see me speak, you know?
Now I'm getting them.
Yeah, now people are lining up out. I mean, like I literally...
My first fundraiser in Manhattan was, not Manhattan, New Hampshire was a fund loser, and there was one person showing up for a cup of coffee, and then now all of a sudden he's filling out stadiums.
But again, me and you have been to not fundraisers but rallies that are free to go to 3-4 hours early, and no one's there. There's not a line around the block. So internally they see it's big, but I think also working with this firm and stuff, I think, of course, they're going to say, hey, paying us money. Trust me, the gains will come eventually. But I think working with experienced people, it's easy for them to say, hey, look, I know you haven't seen the polls come up yet, but this is working. Trust us, stick with it. You need the experienced people who've been there. You need.
Yep.
How about this? Let us know in the comments.
I agree.
I believe at this moment, I've been struggling to find the link, but I believe at this moment, if you wanted, I think there's an independent website ran by just Yang supporters that will send you a packet, a little pamphlet with all this different Yang information in it. I mean, maybe Andrew Yang does need someone officially working in the campaign who's familiar with direct mailing, so the campaign can step it up. Like maybe they've seen blind spots and they can say, look,
well, he trends extremely young, so he needs to penetrate the boomers, and boomers still respond to direct mail.
But just to get back to what you're saying, though, what I'm trying to say is, I think where's that line? I think just be honest with your campaign and say, look, there's parts of our campaign we've been running more non-traditionally that are going fine. Why mess with them? But we do need help in these spots. Why not bring in the help that know what they're doing for those spots? I don't know. Personally, I like it. I think it's going to be working. I think the next time he has a fundraiser like this somewhere else, I think this is going to be a trend we continue to see. Just more people coming out. Because, I mean, dude, that was at least $20,000 hit to the campaign in just a couple hours. I mean, this is good for how campaigns raise money. He hasn't.
These people are more expensive than that.
We were talking the other day though, and it hasn't quite got to the $60,000 a dinner, the Hillary and Trump kind of stuff. But maybe
I guarantee you,
maybe one day you can aspire to the awful celebrities host a dinner, and like remember we were talking about.
I guarantee you, these people are getting $20,000 a month with a winning performance bonus.
I'm talking about people he pays. I'm just saying that the Andrew Yang campaign is growing. It's like legitimately getting bigger as far as not only the internal staff, but the supporter base. And this is just, I think, a cool day to kind of mark that and chart it again. I think it's every now and then a certain thing will happen and you could say, look, man, you got this many people to come out to not a rally, but a fundraiser. And he announces that he's bringing in some campaign veterans from both Hillary and Obama. With one person who's veteran in both campaigns. I think it just shows that, like, yes, they are literally growing in all sense. And I think it's interesting. It's like I said, I think yesterday was very telling of the direction of this campaign. Like, I would be, like, let me tell you something. If for whatever reason, let's say they don't release any more polls and Andrew Yang doesn't make it to the December debate, I'd be dumbfounded if he dropped out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's still doing just fine. Yes, he'll miss one debate, but guess what? We talk about debates for literally a day or so. And then if he's just at the next one, it'd be like an aside. Well, he wasn't there. It was weird because he's actually growing. For someone
Yeah.
like a Julian Castro, yeah, it's probably the end of his campaign, right? But for someone like Andrew Yang, it's like, dude, he's hiring more and more people. He's raising more and more money. More and more people are coming to see him speak. He could survive it. That being said, I'm pretty sure he'll make the debate anyway because they want the ratings. But I just think that it I don't know. It shows this was a fun day to look back and say, yes, he indeed is growing his campaign. Like it is getting bigger and it is growing the movement. It's kind of cool.
All right. So I agree with you, Cody. I have very little to add because the oracle hath spoken, and when such wisdom is dropped, it's difficult to top it. So what's next, man?
No, that was it for today.
That was it?
Yeah, we were just talking about the what happened over the weekend or yesterday for Friday. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Rock on.
I mean,
awesome.
it's I could bring up some other stuff, but there's nothing really going on in the news so far involving Andrew Yang. I just thought it was cool to highlight that. Like I said, the campaign's growing inside and out. Is basically what I wanted to highlight. I thought that was a cool way to show it in both one day, two cool events.
Okay, awesome. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. I think that this is going to be. This is about the third thing in the past 10 days where we've said we don't know. Anybody that says they know is lying to you. We can only say we think or we have a feeling that it will be good or it will be bad. The truth and the proof will be in the pudding, and the pudding is going to be released in a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll find out when more things go on. Exactly.
We'll find out. Awesome. So anyways, let us know what you guys think. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please subscribe. Make sure you like or share this video if possible. If you want to contribute to the channel, make sure you check out the PayPal link in the description, or that you purchase a Problem Solver Politics hat. Actually, I'm used to pointing my hat, but today I'm wearing the Yang Australians math hat. I'm doing my social experiment. It's just not working, man. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. We love hanging out with you in the chat. Also, make sure that you leave us a voicemail at 1-833-Problem Solver Politics and hang out with us on the live streams we do once a week. This is Problem Solver Politics. We will see you in the next video.